Hello and welcome back to the Melge Gaming YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing something very exciting. I'll be doing my first in-depth product review of a product that has been made by a company that approached me. That's right, the good people over at Fifine got in touch with me and asked if I would be willing to do a review on their T669 USB microphone. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be having a look at this and seeing how it performs. So just to give you a rundown on what we're going to do here, we're going to take the mic out and set it up, and we're going to see how it performs straight out of the box. Then we're going to see if there's any small tweaks that we can make to improve the overall quality of the mic. And the poor folk over at Fifine even suggested that maybe I could do a comparison with my existing mic. What they don't know is that I use a Rode NTK, which is a studio quality valve-driven condenser mic. So naturally, we're going to indulge them and we're going to see how their £70 microphone, which includes the clamp and the boom arm and a pop filter, stands up against a £475 studio quality microphone. You should know by now that I'm aiming to put out 2 YouTube videos a month aimed at helping smaller and newer streamers by giving them tech and growth advice. If that sounds like something that would be of interest to you, then please do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to get notified when future videos go live. I've cut my intro scene from this video, so we're just going to go straight into it. So what is it that actually makes a microphone sound good? Different microphones pick up different frequencies in your voice in different ways. So where one microphone might be particularly good at picking up bassy frequencies, another one might be particularly good at picking up high-end frequencies. How different microphones respond to these frequencies are what give it its overall tone. Of course, we'll also be looking at the overall stability of the mic and how sturdy it seems, and whether we feel like it could withstand being dropped on the floor or maybe knocked against your desk a few times. And we'll also be having a look at how it deals with background noise, and if you have to crank your gain so much to get any signal through it that all you hear is sort of like hum and buzz. So we're going to have a look at that as well. I guess a good place to start is let's go into an unboxing shot and see what you get when you purchase the Fifine T669 microphone. Okay, so here we have the Fifine T669. Let's open it up and see what we've got. Okay, so straight away you can see the pop shield, what looks like a manual, and what's this here? This looks like the customer service information, and what's on the back here? Some general info for where you can get support and an extended warranty as well. Obviously we've got the sort of user guide here that's going to tell us how to set up the boom arm and some of the details about the mic itself. And then we have the pop shield, so let's just have a look at this. Okay, so my first thoughts on it are, like a lot of pop shields that you get like this, is quite flimsy. It's got the normal clamp on the bottom, which is nice to see. And then let's see what we've got under here. Okay. Quite a lot going on in here, to be fair. What's this? So we got some spares, looks like some spare cables for the shock mount, as well as a few other bits and pieces. Here's the shock mount itself, which I have to say is a bit plasticky and flimsy. We've got the basic C-clamp that you use to clamp the mic to your desk. Looks exactly the same as any C-clamp that you might get with any boom arm. I'm sure this will work just fine. So this is something you don't get with very many mics. We have like a plosive pop foam here to help reduce any plosive noise, and the cable for the mic as well. This is a nice touch. I like this. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. Let's see if we can get into it and find out. Do you rip it? Oh, no, it just opens at the bottom. What have we got here? Okay, so it's like a little, like a desk mount tripod, by the looks of it. So if you didn't want to use the boom arm, you could use this instead. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. Let's get this arm out of here. Okay, let's have a little feel of this. So you'll have the bottom end here, which goes into the clamp, and then the top end is where the microphone will connect to. And let's have a look at the mic itself. You know what? The mic itself feels pretty sturdy. And fairly heavy. The clip here at the bottom is a bit flimsy, but the mic itself feels like it's quite good quality, and it's got the gain dial on the front of it as well, which is always nice to have. You cannot push this button to mute it. It's just a dial for gain on the microphone. Overall, the microphone itself feels really nice. Okay, well that looks like a pretty comprehensive starter kit there. If you have no mic and no audio equipment at all, then buying the Fifine T669 will certainly give you everything that you need to get up and running. But how does it perform? We're going to plug it in and get it set up now, and we'll take a look. So we're just putting the T699 into the shock mount now, which I have to say the shock mount is quite light, plasticky, and the elastic wires that they're using as shock absorbers don't seem particularly taut, but we'll see how good of a job it does at reducing any sort of knocking and banging on the desk. We're getting there, we're getting there. Lift this up a little as well, I guess, so you can see them both. Get this pop shield installed. I guess we can double up on our pop shielding by getting this cover over the mic as well, which I won't lie, I think it's a very nice touch from Fifine. Testing, testing, testing. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, cool. It is working. It installed very quickly, very easily. It was very much plug and play. Let's see if we can get a little recording of both of these microphones at the exact same time. They are pretty much equidistant from my face. So you've got the T699 here, and you've got the Rode NTK here. I'm going to see if we can get a recording on these for you. Let me get my headphones on so that I can hear what's going on with this mic. Okay, so this is the T669 with nothing done to it. This is on middle gain, which is way too loud. We need to turn this right down. Okay, so I've turned the volume knob to like the lowest amount that it can possibly be on, and that's much better. Just listening for background noise. And there is some, don't get me wrong, but it's not terrible, but we are on tiny, 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 tiny gain right now. I can't believe the gain that's available on this microphone. If I turn it up to the max, I reckon we'll get some serious humming. Let's give it a go. I'm legitimately too scared to speak because it's so fucking loud. Oh my god. This is an ASMR microphone. This is ridiculous. Okay, so you're not going to need a cloud lifter with this mic. It's got loads of gain on it, and I guess it's better to have too much gain than not enough, absolutely. I'm shocked that you can crank it that much, but fair dues. Now, let me just say this sentence here, and you're going to hear this with the T669 and with the Rode NTK, and we'll flip it back and forwards a couple of times so that you can hear it and see or hear the difference between the two microphones. So, this is a test sentence with some plosives and some S's. This is a test sentence with some plosives and some S's. And now we're going to try and clean up the T669 just a little bit by adding some filters on OBS. So if you've seen any of my audio videos, you know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go in and we're going to add a noise suppressor. Oh wow. Oh, that's a game changer. So we've added a noise suppressor on, and that really cleans up the T669. Now we're going to add on a compressor, and we're going to set a ratio of around 4:1. And then we're going to add a limiter. I'm going to set a threshold of -6 decibels. And what all of this combined is that I can pretty much shout into this microphone and it won't deafen you completely, and it shouldn't clip. Or I can whisper very quietly and it stays nice and even. I think we've cleaned this up really quite nicely. Let's see if we can just add on a bit of EQ. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay, cool. So this is the T669 with no EQ on it, just flat as it comes out of the box. Let's add some EQ here. Let's have a look if we've got any presets that will work. Okay, here is the T669 with a light bass boost and a fairly big high boost, a high end boost. I'm just going to lower this down a little. I'm playing with the EQ as I'm talking here. Hopefully we can just highlight some bassy tones. And that's the T669. We've added the noise suppressor, we've added a compressor, we've added a limiter, and a little bit of EQ. So how does it stand up against the Rode NTK? Bear in mind, this is a £70 microphone that comes with a boom arm, a clamp, a pop shield, a plosive like foam filter, cable, everything you need to get started for £70. Versus the Rode NTK, which is a £475 mic. Now, don't get me wrong, I would never recommend the Rode NTK for anybody as a streaming mic. I just so happen to own one for musical purposes, and it's the best suited mic that I have to the job. And now that we've got those filters set up on the T669, let's have a listen to our comparison again. This is a test sentence with some plosives and some S's. This is a test sentence with some plosives and some S's. And that's the T669. Let me just swap over now to the Rode NTK. And this is now the NTK, and again with the exact same setup, actually, the exact same filter settings as we've used for the T669, including the EQ, which is not something I would normally recommend, but for the sake of a fair comparison, that is what I have done. This is a test sentence with some plosives and some S's. This is a test sentence with some plosives and some S's. Okay, then, having gone back and listened to both of these microphones, I have to say I'm reasonably impressed with the Fifine T669 microphone. For the price of £70, it's an absolute steal. And once you apply a few small tweaks inside of OBS, you actually get a pretty decent sounding mic. I do think that it lacks some of the low-end clarity that the NTK has, but as I say, for the price, it's phenomenal. The one thing I would say is, personally, if I was Fifine, I would scrap the boom arm. I would scrap the pop filter. I'd keep the foam. I like that. It's a nice touch. I'd maybe even scrap the shock mount and see if I could squeeze the price down even further, because to be honest with you, the boom arm is flimsy. It's not the best. It will move over time. It's going to lose its sort of sturdiness. It's not going to hold. You're just going to have it slowly sinking down. And you can buy a boom arm separately for 20-30 quid. It's not a problem. So that's the only criticism that I have. If I was going to go for a budget mic and I was Fifine, I would scrap all of the extras and see if I could bring that price down to even maybe £50, and that would make it an unbeatable budget USB microphone. So thumbs up, Fifine. You've done a great job for £70. I am reasonably impressed. And that just about sums up our little review of the Fifine T669 microphone. Overall, I will say the mic itself, great build quality, phenomenal gain on it, and I really like the plosive foam touch. I think that's lovely. Downsides, I would say the shock mount, the boom arm, and the pop shield that come with it aren't fantastic. If I was Fifine, I would ditch them and try and bring the price of the microphone down even further to make it an even better deal. But overall, they've done fantastic, and for a starter, you know what, I would recommend the mic. If you're just getting started and you've got no audio equipment at all, then the T669 at 70 quid with a boom arm and all the bits and pieces that you need is actually a pretty good steal. Just make sure you take the time to put the filters on inside of OBS to get it sounding just right for the stream. And that's all from me for today. If you did enjoy the video, then please leave a comment below and let me know what you enjoyed about it. Consider subscribing to the channel and turn on notifications to get notified when future videos go live. And thanks for watching.